Of course, this was 12 years ago. The front of this church was less these smaller columns, and I told them to add these columns to it to make it smaller. And it had two exit doors that were bright red, which were really not very nice looking from the street. The final project was with this cross, and it's when I was making this cross, I accidentally damaged the sample that I was making. It has a little tear in it, and I felt that I should keep that little tear because that little tear in the cross represented the imperfections of life today. And the priest at this church really liked that idea, and he created a whole sermon around it. Inside the church, you can see it's a silhouette of the cross on the outside. They came to me and they wanted me to duplicate this window. I do not like to duplicate windows, but I did like to create the same design for them. With the church, the framework, it had a cross that was existing in the frame with the circles. So I designed around that. And what I did is I enhanced the cross by doing a border around it in the darker blue. And I also did the background of this design in the blue to bring out the border in the cross. And it worked out very well. I did more of a yellow, starburst sort of design, and they were very pleased with it. And I had to also keep within a budget. So I had to create how many pieces of glass per foot in the window to keep the budget within the budget. And that's one thing artists hate to do, is have a budget. So I had no painting in this window, no shading. Everything had to be done by glass, and I did personally pick out the glass so that I would get some shading in it.
This is a new stained glass project that we've done over the past 8 years in Sugar Land, Texas, which is a suburb of Houston. We designed 3 stained glass windows that are 20 feet by 35 feet high. They were designed by our artist that has been working with Lamb Studios for the past 25 years. His name is Roy Coomer. He lives in England. And in this case, the situation was the church selected him as their artist that they wanted to use. And so Roy came over to Texas with me, and we met with the committee and explained to them how we would work together. Roy actually painted the windows in England and cut the glass. He fired the glass, and then he shipped over all the pieces of that in boxes to us. We did the assembly here, and then we installed the windows. This is an example of the expansiveness of the stained glass studio and how we can reach out over the oceans of time and oceans of the world to provide stained glass windows. We also do interior designing of churches, and these are photographs of the before and after shots of a church in South River, New Jersey, where we designed the entire interior, removed all the flooring and the pews, and put a new oak floor down, and redesigned the chancel area, and put a stained glass window in the wall. Here in the West Side Presbyterian Church in Ridgewood, New Jersey, they had a disastrous fire about 5 years ago, and the windows were made by Lamb Studios in 1924, and all the windows were destroyed. Well, through our records and photographs that we had taken of the church prior to the fire, we were able to reduplicate the windows using a different, more modern design, but it is Christ with the shepherd and the sheep in the background. And this is the final job that they did there. And we're very happy to have been able to serve this church again so many years later.
is Dave Conrad. I'm the general manager of J&R Lamb Studios. The stained glass is a large part of our business. Frame restoration, wood, steel, aluminum. We are a 150-year-old company and honored to work on these historic buildings, churches and public buildings. Restoration makes up about 80% of what we do.
Good afternoon, Lamb Studios. Can I help you?
My job is overseeing all the work we do here, the employees, and a lot of the estimating goes through me. Estimating the window is pulling together a lot of components.